Welcome back to the Austrian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, Jamie's had some connection issues, so I will continue on for the remaining 10 laps of this race, where we've got Galzu in the lead of this race ahead of Frederico, who's on an alternative strategy, the only driver to perform a one-stop. Having started on the hards and switched over to the mediums a couple of laps ago, but putting himself in a really handy position now. Still at the fight at the front, but he's under pressure from Botti, who's going to try and go up the inside in towards turn 4. They're going side by side for second place. The RB on the inside, the Alpine still hanging it around the outside in the Brackman. Bessel getting all out of shape on the exit, and that is Frederico still on the inside going through turn 6. As they're still going at it. Galzu is starting to gain some ground on these, but they're still side by side. Both hanging around the outside and getting the move done complete in the end. What a beautiful move there from the RB, finally getting the job done, and finds himself in second place now, 0.8 of a second behind the Kicksauer as we go on to lap 28. And Galzu unfortunately unable to break away from the DRS in that moment between Botti and the Alpine, with Vessel then still in 4th place, followed by the Grandada in P5, who unfortunately picked up a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which is going to cost him a lot at the end of this race. And then it's Alex in P6, who also went for the one-stop, although he has to do 8 more laps on this set of hards. He's under pressure now from Salvo right behind, but the fight continues on at the front, with Galzu leading ahead of Botti, then Frederico in P3 with Vessel and the Grandada, and the gap then 10 seconds towards Alex. But look at the fight behind Ivan then in B8. The entire DRS from down towards Lakitu in B15 is in this DRS train, so it's going to be quite a juicy fight then as well for the last points paying positions inside the top 10. And it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out on top of this fight, currently led by Ivan, who's got the freshest tires out of all of them, so he should be able to use that tire advantage to build a gap slowly but surely and secure that 8th place. But at the front it is 4 tenths separating our 2 race leaders, with Botti now putting the pressure on the Kicksauer when he's got the DRS now with the help of Slipstream and ERS. Is he going to try and go for it immediately, or does he want to stay behind for a few laps and wait until the very final lap to make his move? At the moment he hasn't got the pressure from behind, because Frederico is starting to drop behind a little bit now. He's been on these mediums for 7 laps, and the tires will start to degrade slowly but surely, as Salvo now gets ahead of Alex for P6 in this race. But he's staying behind the Kicksauer for now, as the gap's around 4 tenths of a second. Vessel in P4 will want to get by the Alpine as soon as possible as well, before the top 2 will start to build a gap of over 1 second towards Frederico, who eventually will start to drop off, as Jerem is fighting it out with Tsunami going through turn 4. A bit of contact between the 2 on the exit. Once again now the Alpine on the outside going towards turn 6, but Jerem keeps his nose on the inside as there's more contact mid-corner between the 2, and the McLaren is still ahead now going in towards turn 7. Great move from Jerem, who puts himself inside the top 10. The gap now towards Ludo is 1.7 seconds, and he will be vulnerable on the next lap when the cars behind him have the DRS, and he has not in this fight, losing a lot of time towards the Ferrari ahead, who is doing well to stay with Ivan in this fight for P8 and P9. But Jerem will start to be under pressure at the front. The gaps are quite similar still, but Frederico is now 7/8 tenths of a second behind Botti, who is trying to stretch away from the Alpine. In the meantime, Vessel not quite close enough to complete a move on the Alpine, has to stay in 4th place. Looks like Tsunami's finally got the move done on Jerem again, and this fight is still continuing on. Kalja now will try to go around the outside of the McLaren, but he's going to be boxed in towards the braking zone of turn 4, and Jerem is still there on the inside, as there's a bit of contact mid-corner, and the better exit is there for the McLaren driver, who stays ahead then of the Kicksauer. But Jerem himself got a time penalty as well, so he will drop behind, and it's Kalja who finds himself once again with front wing damage. It's the 2nd time in this race that he has broken his front wing. He replaced it at his first pit stop, then fought back up the order, but now having to deal with front wing damage once again, as Alex picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that will cost him, because Ivan behind is only 1.8 seconds behind. Lou is there as well, around half a second, and Alex, now on 16 lap old hard tires, will lose out to Salvo eventually, and Ivan will catch up eventually with that 10 lap tire advantage. Galtsu then now still remaining in the lead. Botti is waiting to place his move for the race lead. There's still 5 laps to go after this, so there's no rush at the moment. He isn't under pressure from behind either, so as long as he is safe in second place, he should just stay behind and wait to make the move on the final lap of the race to take the lead in the potential race win. But at the moment he is very close to the Kickstarter going through these final 2 corners. He's got a full battery as well to work with. And now is he going to try and use that as we go on to lap 32 of 36. He's been closer than ever in this second stint, almost pushing the Kickstarter through the corner, through turn 1. Doesn't quite get the exit right though, which Galtsu does, and Frederico as well. The Alpine getting pretty close once again. Might be looking to try and go for the move on the RB, but it's not quite close enough to send one up the inside, up the hill in towards turn 3. Once again, Wessel quite close as well to the Alpine, as Botti is not close enough to make that move. Alex is now under pressure from Ivan and Lou in this fight now for P7. Of course, the Haas driver having a 3-second time penalty will fall behind these two anyway, as yellow flags are in the background, and it's Kalja who's been involved in an incident with, I think, Lakitu, who's now got front wing damage, and potentially Paco as well. Shiny Diamond also seems involved in this accident, so not sure what happened there at turn 3, but Kalja's race going from bad to worse, whilst his teammate is out at the front trying to win this race. He finds himself now down in P14 with even more front wing damage. Cedric in the meantime into the pit lane as well in the second Aston Martin, also having quite an unfortunate race with having front wing damage at multiple occasions so far in this 36 lap race. As Ivan, he has found the way past Alex and he is trying to gain the time on Salvo as well, so he might be able to get himself into P6. At the moment he's still 1.4 seconds behind. Meanwhile, here comes Botti now. Is he going to try and go for the move in towards turn 4? No, he stays behind. He doesn't want to overtake the kick Sauber yet. He has got the ERS advantage as long as he just stays behind the Sauber going on to these final few laps. He should be quite an easy overtake on lap 36 as Kaya has spotted the pit lane for a brand new set of softs to try and go for the fastest lap. As that's the last thing he can do in this race, unfortunately for him. Meanwhile, Wessel still unable to get past Frederico, who once again is dropping behind a little bit to the top 2. Caps around 0.7 of a second. Coming out of the final corner, going on to lap 34. 3 laps to go in this race. Galtsu out in front, but he knows that he isn't in a great position to win this race at the moment, as Ivan picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that will cost him not only in his fight against Salvo, but in the fight against Lou as well, who now knows that they don't have to overtake the Mercedes in order to gain that position. Something that Botti does need to do though, as he's now 2/10 away of the Kicksauber with the help of DRS, ERS and some slipstream, but staying behind as the gap towards Frederico continues to expand. As there's a brief moment of yellow flags down the second DRS train, the DRS straight. Wessel now starting to knock on the door of the Alpine. Will he get close enough though to get ahead, to steal away that final podium position? We've only got 2 laps to go after this, and as long as he's in this DRS train, it might be quite difficult on that final lap. Look how close Botti is once again to the back of Galtsu, as Frederico going slightly wide, and Galtsu picks up a 3-second time penalty out of the final corner, completely ruining his chances of winning this race. Botti knows he doesn't need to overtake. Frederico knows he now has a chance to win this race, so does Wessel, and Botti, will he try to get past now, knowing that the Kicksauber has a final penalty anyway, or will he still wait until that final lap? Still staying behind though, going in towards turn 3 as this fight continues on with the Alpine close behind. Look how close Botti is once again to the back of the Kicksauber, but choosing to stay behind. But a crucial moment there for Galtsu, unfortunately for him, picking up a 3-second time penalty at the exit of the final corner and going on to the penultimate lap of this race. And that might limit his chances of winning this race, and it might limit him to P4 as his teammate picks up a point for the fastest lap, 105.5 to 7 for Kalja, but down in P15 won't score any more points than that. And there is 1 lap to go. Galtsu will lead onto the final lap, but I fear that he will not win the Austrian Grand Prix. But he is 0.4 of a second behind. Will he try to overtake on track to at least know that he's going to win this race for sure? Galtsu will defend as they go up the hill of turn 2 and turn 3. Botti is going to try and go up the inside, side by side for the race lead. Botti up the inside, bit of contact between the two, but the RB driver gets the move done as Galtsu gets shuffled wide a little bit. Once again, DRS is there for Botti, so he should be safe going in towards turn 4, and he is so. And Galtsu dropping to 2nd place on that final lap of this race. Fradaconino in P3, dat niet could do. Wessel staying in P4 as well. The Grandada in P5. He's got a 10-second time penalty, but he's still 11 seconds ahead of Salvo, so he should be able to maintain in 5th place. But here comes the RB driver who started on pole position here at Austria. Waited until the best opportunity. Galtsu picked up a 3-second time penalty, but regardless, he overtook him on track on the final lap, and Botti will win the Austrian Grand Prix. A beautiful drive for the RB driver. Fradaconino picks up 2nd place. Wessel in P3, and Galtsu, who has led the majority of this race, in the end has to settle for 4th place after picking up a penalty in the dying stages of this race. The Grandada has done enough to maintain in 5th place, only a few tenths though, ahead of Salvo in P6, Lou in 7th place, then it's Ivan in P8, who in the end found himself with front wing damage as well. Might have got it as he crossed the line. Then it's Tsunami in P9, ahead of Jadam in the McLaren, Paco in 11th place, Lakito in 12th, Alex in P13, and then we wait for Kalia to cross the line in 14th place, ahead of Shiny Diamond and Cedric in P16. But it's Botti who is victorious here in Austria and picking up the maximum amount of points with a pole position point and the maximum points for his race win. A very, very well deserved drive and a very well deserved win for the RB driver. That will do him well then in the championship fight as well. Of course, Galtsu would have loved to win this race as going into this race as our championship leader, but in the end has to settle for P4. Botti was in 11th place in the championship going into this race. Will sure get a nice boost in this championship fight. Luckily for Galtsu, his main rivals, Onikitsun, Salvo didn't really score many points. Fradaconino was 4th in the championship, ahead of Austria, of course, with a 2nd place. Will gain some points on the Kicksauber as well, so they will all get closer to each other in this championship fight. But Botti winning the Austrian Grand Prix with a point for pole position as well. An incredible drive and very well calculated going on to those final few laps as well. But well done to him, Fradaconino and Wessel, your top 3 here for round 3 of the season. And Galtsu in 4th place for what should have been at least a podium, but potentially even a race win. But sometimes things like that happen, and unfortunately it is the case for the Kicksauber driver. Next week we will return. Actually, we will not. Next week is a break week, but after that we will return in the USA for round 4 of the season at Texas. I will apologize for the difficulties we sustained during this race, having to restart the stream multiple times. Unfortunately, it wasn't planned at all, but sometimes it happens. But still, apologies for the inconvenience. Let's hope we can try and fix that over the next week, and we can bounce back stronger from that for round 4 of the season. But either way, thank you all for tuning into this stream tonight, and hope you all enjoyed. I certainly did, and I think Jamie did as well, though might not be the happiest person at the moment due to having those connection issues. But still was quite an enjoyable race, and looking forward to see more of that action for the remainder of the season. But until then, that's all from me tonight, And we will see you guys in 2 weeks' time for the Texas Grand Prix for round 4 of the season. Thank you.